Sean and Jody, if you're not underwater, this weather can be pretty sticky, but tomorrow's weather is going to be downright dangerous. A McChesney Park native is on his way to the ends of the earth tonight. The chemicals that went into the ground are not in your drinking water. Turnout this year was a little disappointing, and a lot of the neighbors wish more of their own were here. And from there, the losing side still has one more chance to appeal to the Illinois Supreme Court. In Elgin, I'm Ann Johnsos for 13 News.
One person who the weather has been particularly unfair to is 13 News reporter Ann Johnsos. She joins us live in the snow with reaction to the storm. Ann?
Eric, I thought stories like this were over, and I was a little bit glad. But no, we have to have one last hurrah before winter ends.
A little late in the season to be getting it.
Didn't you think winter was over?
I thought, with all the nice weather that we're having.
Chris Enninga filled up her tank on the way home to Freeport just in case. But Harry Sandiger isn't worried. He says his wife stocks up on gas and food, but he takes his chances.
I'm not really worried about the snow. I always have a four-wheel drive vehicle, and I've lived in the snow for many years.
Linda Matrenga has lived through snow before as well. That's why she went grocery shopping today.
I needed to pick up a few things, but I thought with the snow coming, I wanted to get here and get home before it starts.
Stores all over Rockford saw a little spike in business today as people prepared for the worst. And at the city yards, truck drivers did their share of preparing. 15 arterial trucks are ready to hit the main roadways, with 24 residential trucks standing by to clear the neighborhoods. Plowing will start tonight and go on until the early hours of the morning. For Matrenga, it's a pain, but hey, it comes with the territory.
Hey, we've been lucky. We're lucky.
So now do we deserve this?
No.
Most of the people I talked to are pretty cheerful about this storm. After all, we've had snow in April and May before. At least with this snow, we can hope it will melt pretty soon. Reporting live in Rockford, I'm Ann Johnsos for 13 News.
And we just hope that you can thaw out in time for the next storm. Thanks for that report.
Firefighters here are just leaving after what they call a job well done. The fire here on Washington Avenue broke out just before 7:30. 9 people were in the building, but no one was seriously hurt. Charles Lasinski fought his way back to the building after the area was safe. His son Jeffrey owns custom-designed cabinetry, and they were both inside painting Christmas decorations when they saw the flames.
We saved everybody. Everybody is fine. But 10 years worth of work and sweat and blood and tears have disappeared in a matter of an hour.
South Beloit's fire department got to the building first, with Harlem Roscoe not far behind.
We could see flames probably 2 or 3 miles out of South Beloit. We could see flames.
The main part of the building was completely destroyed, along with the cabinets and machinery inside. Neighbors heard several explosions as cans of varnish reacted to the heat. Shadow Lorenz could hear the explosions from his house 3 miles away.
I looked at the sky, and half the sky was pitch black, and then over towards this way there was a big red glow in the air.
Lasinski's son was the only one hurt. He cut his arm as he was trying to help firefighters. And even in the devastation, this father can feel some relief.
It's Thanksgiving, and we're thankful that everybody's together, and everybody's going to sit down to dinner, and we try not to think about it.
Sheriff's police are working with the fire departments to assess the damage here and to find a possible cause. One investigator did tell me that they don't think there was any foul play. They believe it was a heater. Something went wrong with the heater on the north end of the building. Reporting live in South Beloit, I'm Ann Johnsos for 13 News.
Ann Johnsos is live from the scene near the Greater Rockford Airport. She has the latest. Ann?
Eric, the scene here is much quieter than it was all day. It took firefighters and hazmat along with state and Rockford police more than 6 hours to take this from an emergency and make it safe again.
The danger is over to the people in this area.
Lieutenant Dan Zackert of Hazmat likes a happy ending, but earlier today it was hard to imagine. A truck driver pulled up to a tank filled with 2,500 gallons of sulfuric acid and added his load.
There was a mixture, a 1,500-gallon mixture of nitric acid and phosphoric acid added to the sulfuric by accident.
Immediately, the acids began to react, sending a toxic vapor into the air. Division Fire Chief Steve Leedy said they couldn't stop it.
If I plug the vents, then I'm going to cause an explosion, and I'm going to have a bigger problem. So we're taking the safest route we can at this point in time.
By noon, the reaction had slowed and the vapor was much weaker. Workers at the scene moved on to assess damage.
Some of the product got into the storm drain, and we need to make sure where it's going and what it's going to do when it gets there.
A private company contracted by MGF Industries was brought in to plug the storm drain while the tank cooled off. From there, it's a question of putting the chemicals into another truck and getting them out of here. And a damage assessment will continue.
Well, we're still trying to get some plats that are showing just exactly what sewers, whether it be storm or sanitary, that this product would go into. And at this time, it doesn't appear to be a major hazard either way.
Again, I want to make it clear the chemicals that went into the ground are not in your drinking water, but the EPA will run some tests of the areas around here just to make sure everything is safe. Reporting live in Rockford, I'm Ann Johnsos for 13 News.
And how long before they get those chemicals out of the area?
Well, Eric, in order to transport them, they have to be about 100 degrees. Right now, they're 160 degrees, so the crews here say they'll probably wait overnight before they try to move them.
God, this is exciting, isn't it?
For Jeopardy announcer Johnny Gilbert, every show is exciting. For the contestants, it's a dream. Even the king of Jeopardy, Alex Trebek, calls it an education. But for producer Harry Friedman, it's half an hour of holding his breath.
If there is a mistake, if there's a technical problem, our obligation is to correct it in the fairest way possible.
Many shows do have mistakes. With questions and answers flying around, sometimes the judges need to stop the show.
We'll get an answer that we weren't counting on. So we have to find out, is that an acceptable answer?
With researchers at the table, backstage, and back in California, it doesn't take long to give credit where credit is due.
It's important to the fairness and the integrity of the game.
Every Jeopardy show is a mixture of lights, camera, and action, but none of it would be possible without those who think of the questions.
It's kind of a serious pursuit that we're doing here, and people take it seriously.
Gary Johnson is the head writer for America's #1 quiz show. He says it isn't just the information that matters, it's the presentation, choosing categories and clues that make it entertaining. 8 writers and 4 researchers work year-round turning answers into questions. Johnson says he used to worry he'd come in one day with nothing left to ask, but now he knows better.
We'll never run out of information.
Well, as long as the world keeps turning, we'll have new things to talk about,
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
It's a wonder I have not killed off our writers.
Of course, we don't know about all the hard work in the background because the man in the foreground has the magic touch. In my next report, you'll get a closer look at Alex. Ann Johnsos, 13 News.
Stay to the right.
Firefighters know there's nothing blacker than a room full of smoke. And if someone's caught in that room, time is crucial.
The person that's not breathing is only going to be able to be survivable 4 to 6 minutes after they quit breathing.
Heading into a fire the old-fashioned way means crawling around and feeling for victims. But new thermal imaging cameras are letting firefighters see their way to the victims inside. I can see your hand holding onto your helmet again. The new cameras pick up heat from people and from fire, keeping victims safe and firefighters too.
People don't realize that when you go in a house filled with smoke and fire, it's quite a hazard.
But safety comes at a hefty price. The Harlem-Roscoe Fire Department tested a handheld camera called an Argus that costs about $15,000. A handheld TV camera helps in initial assessment of the building. It costs about $12,000. The helmet-style camera called the Cairns Iris goes for more than $25,000. But Channel 13 saw firsthand how effective it was. The first time I went in, it was totally black, couldn't see anything, and I was a little nervous. Second time around, it's white images, so I could see the heat from the people around me, and then the masks and the feet, and you could see furniture too if you were looking closely. Now, if I had known more about what to expect, I probably would have been able to save a life.
Victim's life is our #1 priority, and it's going to save us a lot of time. And if a fireman's got one of these on, he can actually see what's really going on. It could save a life.
And when it comes to saving lives, firefighters say no price is too big to pay. Ann Johnsos, 13 News. Fans of pro wrestling don't kid themselves. They know the moves are staged. So when a group of kids in Belvedere built a ring of their own, they knew they were in for some practice. Not all the moves at the Belvedere Championship wrestling meets look real, but the flashy ones draw a crowd. And when parents come to see what their kids are up to, they get a face full of violent antics. Liz Perez has 3 sons with the BCW.
I was scared to death because I thought stuff was going to happen to them. Because they used garbage cans, garbage can lids, chairs and everything, but with their practice and everything, I realized not to worry, Mom.
Let's welcome Buck.
Terry Lee, or T-Bone, runs the BCW, and his son Buck is the cruiserweight champion. Both of them say the choreography keeps the fighting safe, but accidents do happen. Buck fell out of the ring during his first match.
It still hurts, but yeah, it hurts, yeah. I don't know.
You don't mind that?
No, I don't mind. I do it for the crowd. I do it for the fans.
The fans come in droves, 2 or 3 times a month, to cheer their favorites.
That's right!
And to wait for the stunt that takes the performance to the next level. Do you think it gets out of hand?
Weren't we all kids at one time in life? We handled it.
Lee does hope that no one gets hurt, and the kids who don't know the routines don't get to perform. But some parents in the audience wonder how long it'll take for one false move to end in disaster. Parents who support the BCW are glad their kids have a place to go where drugs and alcohol are not an option.